Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. The most respectable, my lecturer, Serben Wijaya, and all of the participants, my beloved friends. First of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Puja Andini, and I'm coming from 6th class English study program of State Polytechnic of Sriwijaya. Today, I'm going to present a presentation, especially journal article review, with the title Genre, Gender, and Television Screenwriting, the Problem of Pigeonholing. The authors of this journal article are Beth and Alison Peirse. This journal article was published in 2021. This journal is European Journal of Cultural Studies with the volume 24 and the issue is 3 and the total of the pages is 15 pages. Okay, we will move to the next slide. Okay, here are the subpoints of my presentation today, starting from introduction, then approach, next is getting in and getting on section, then community building as a text, and last but not least, it is conclusion. Okay, next. Okay, we will start from the first section, which is introduction. Okay, there are 3 points here that can explain generally about this journal article. So the first point is the genre experience played by female screenwriters in the United Kingdom television industry is the existence of gender inequality between female and male screenwriters. Here, the report focuses on the experience of women as a single category, but writers aim to reveal a more intersectional understanding of their experiences. Second, is female representation amongst writers of children's television is the highest in any television genre. So according to Krager and Follows, in 2018, there are 30% of all children's television credits go to female writers, compared to 200 or 28% for non-children's television. Similar resonance in continuing drama series or CDS, most commonly soap opera, where there tends to be a more equal representation of female and male writers. And the third point is there is a modest correlation between female writers, which has an impact on female characters. Yes, instead, writers ask the interviewers how they can experience being hired in specific television genders and how they recognize and understand their own personality on culture, commercial, and personal level. Okay, we move to the next slide. It's about approach. So here, in this research, writer used qualitative method. So writers utilized the qualitative research tool of snowball mapping to a record correspondence, which uses interpersonal relations and connection between people to access specific population. And second, writers go on to the interview. And it went on to interview with 11 female writers and 1 CDS female producers across a period of 5 months, around 5 months. And the interviews were conducted in a variety of ways according to the needs of the interviewees, including face-to-face, by the video Skype, and by email or on the telephone, and ran from 40 minutes to 2 hours plus with the face-to-face way, interviews having the longest duration. And the third point is the interviews were done professionally transcribed. So the transcription was shared with the interviewer who was able to redact, clarify, correct any material she didn't want to be used before and writer consider it for inclusion in the article. Okay, we move to the next slide. Okay, this is getting in and getting on section. So in addition, they also articulate the process of cultural matching in relation to getting in and getting on in the cultural industries. And the question is, what role does gender play in these processes? And the answer is CDS, or continuing drama series. The continuing drama series is commonly understood as the one of a genre television where some sort of clear training route for getting is enabled. Okay, next slide. It is about the problem of structure of the film and television industries. Okay, of course, during creating a film, television, or creative programs, and something like that that relate to creative programs, the writers, the script writers of the will face a problem in creating it. And here, in this film, the problem of structure of the film and television industries were based on some theory or opinion from several experts or several sources, such as, for the first point, it is according to WGGB, or Writers Guild of Great Britain. They said that the structure places the burden of responsibility for hiring family on individuals. What is less discussed is the informal mentoring that established women writers often undertake to widen the pool of potential hires for a program. Second, women writers can influence producers who have ultimate control on the hires. So it is according to Machiavelli. Machiavelli reveals a model of women writers undertaking informal and unpaid mentoring of aspiring writers. And the third, it is regarding to Evgenia Golubeva. She said that there is a lack of knowledge from producers on who is out and who is available. Evgenia Golubeva also has put together a database of female children's writers because she was finding that she would have producers come to her and she need more female writers, but they don't have any. Okay, we move to the next slide. It's about community building as a text. So there are also 3 points here. The first one is about a predominantly male senior staff tends to hire a predominantly male crew. Yes, it is especially and particularly in pupils. This process may then be perpetuated with a new but still predominantly male senior staff who in their turn make similar hiring choices. Second, a network of interpersonal relationships across multiple programs within the genres. Okay, for this point, it can be said McFarley, one of the experts in script writers, similarly describes the recruitment processes in CDS, or continuing trauma series, as a very fluid, and that people ping pong back and forward, work in the script office as a junior script editor, and later they did a few years on the writing field. Many writers, script editors, and producers in CDS are also ping-ponging around, and people are promoted, perhaps producing or script editing, and then they want to bring us onto the team if they've rated our work in the past. And the third point is female script writers' friendship and relations with other colleagues as a context cultures. So this practice of friendship network, friendship networks described and experienced by these women concerns not only stabilizing opportunities to be hired, but also the normalizing positive experiences of work and also life. As such, friendship networks here can be understood in feminist terms as a form of community building, both personal and professional, building relationship of reciprocity as a mechanism to aid stability, trust, and also happiness of girls. Okay, we move to the next slide. It's about another aspect. So beyond the need for the interpersonal connection, community, and friendship, there is one more. There is one more important place to consider in relation to women's careers getting in and getting on in the British television. What is that? That is genre. So genre holds differing levels of prestige within in the television industry. It is proved by some theory or opinion from experts and some sources. For example, the first one it is from Anna Alakovska in 2015. It said that women's experience of gender inequality in media industries, and it is a function of the genre in which she works. And it points out the throughout television history when women are stars, they are usually limited to the situation comedy. The second, it is the percentage, only 6% is predominantly written by women, and it is the lowest percentage across all television genres. This is starkly apparent in the genre of serial drama. Okay, the third point is when working on a CBS or continuum series with over 100 episodes, or a children's series with over 50 episodes in a season. So actually, women here are writers are working with established words, characters, and narrative shapes, which offer limited opportunities to flex individual voice. Yeah, that's what another aspect explain, which is from genre. Okay, here it is the last section of this journal article of review presentation. It's about conclusion. So regarding and based on journal article, this journal article, it can be complete in several points. So the first one is issues of confidence, particularly in CDS, were evident and can be understood as significant. The issues of confidence, particularly in continuing trauma series, were evident despite what from an external perspective can be understood as significant and often sustained career success, and a lack of confidence to write a new thing doesn't equate here to fear of leaving one show for another, but rather can be understood as connected to moving genre. And second is the interviews revealed not only the power of gender socialization, but also a tension between a desire and a resistance. So it is because to move towards a genre where female and in that intersectional or crossing representation is significantly worse than in CDS and children's. While many of our interviewers noted that they had no interest in moving in genres, others that did ultimately felt that they stood on balance. So stick with Norwegian, please. Okay, this is last but not least from this journal article, and that helped an interview. We as a readers have come to better understand how gender gets in the genre and why parts of television might be women's genres. And it is also can be taken from the interviewing. It can build on the evidence of gender inequalities and reveal an effective and more intersectional understanding of women experiences, communities, caring practices, and concerns, while also critically examining the intersectional or closing and contextual dynamics of power. If doing so, yes, we will count to be better understand and feel not getting miscommunication or misunderstanding about a linked issue anymore. Okay, participants, this is the question and answer section. For you guys who watch me online, you can input your question in the comment box. And for you guys who also participate in my presentation offline, you can ask me directly in the class and give your best feedback for my better performance in the next times. Okay, this is the end of our of my presentation. Thank you so much for your nice attention. I'm so happy to share this review, and it's a little bit difficult for me because I have to learn more about this content of journal article that actually it is a strange one for me, and I didn't know more about this content in the previous, but because I have learned more, I found new words and also new knowledge from this journal article. I'm glad, and I could share to you. Hopefully, what I have delivered to you, it can be useful for we all. And once again, I would like to say thank you for your nice attention. Feel free to give your comment and feedback, whether it is via online or offline in our classroom. I'm Mia Puja Andini, and I'm so sorry if I have any mistake during my presentation. Finally, I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.